You're probably wondering why would we want to grow algae? Well, it's because it can be converted into crude oil, the same as fossil crude oil. This is where fossil crude oil comes from. The difference is ours is carbon neutral. The technology already exists, but instead of taking millions of years, it only takes minutes. Tomorrow I'll be inoculating these tanks with a new batch of algae that's coming in. What we'll do is we'll grow it in these tanks for about 4 to 5 days to get a nice thick, dense culture. And then what we'll do is we'll transfer it over into this tank, which holds 100 gallons of water, and we'll grow it for another about 4 or 5 days in there, or longer. And then what we do is once it's nice and dense and green, we'll transfer it over to the 1,000-gallon system here, and it'll allow us to put in a really dense culture so we won't have to wait so long. After about 5 to 10 days, this culture should be really dark green and healthy in this tank. We inoculated the tank today. It's the 23rd of November, Sunday. We're just going to let it run and see what happens. November 26th, approximately 72 hours worth of growth. Day 6, November 29th. I added more water to the tank. It's Tuesday, December 2nd. We're still maintaining the temperature in the tank, and everything seems to be going normal. December 5th, about 2 o'clock. It's getting quite a bit greener than it was yesterday. Seems to be progressing as normal. December 8th. This video shows our photobioreactors, or PBRs for short, algae growth tanks. It gives some information as to how it works. These next pictures represent the flow direction. This gives an idea of how the algae are circulating inside the PBRs and shows how more algae are exposed to light in comparison to normal algae bioreactors. This demonstrates the turbulence created when water is circulating around the light tubes. This gives an idea of the size comparison scale of the PBRs. The shadow figure in the next clip will be about 6 feet tall. Once algae absorb enough energy, they divide. 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, and so on. It's known as exponential growth. It is well known that algae can double its mass within 12 to 24 hours. This shows how the temperature is controlled in the PBRs. Red represents warm water, blue represents cooler water. The plain water is kept separate from the culture water. The draft tube is used as a big heat exchanger. This represents the individual components of the facility. We would burn trash in our power plant, creating electricity. The exhaust would be scrubbed and the CO2 would be fed back to the algae. What trash that can't be burned, metal and glass, would be recycled. Scrubbed gases such as nitrous oxide and sulfur dioxide would be converted into fertilizer. The exhaust from the power plant would provide the heat needed to harvest dry the algae, so it could be processed into crude oil. The water would be captured and recycled back into the PBRs. No water loss. Although the system works well, there is still quite a bit of work needed to be done. We need to determine the right combination of lighting, light cycles, temperature, pH, circulation speed, and nutrient levels. This is to provide an environment for the algae promoting maximum potential.